Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Zappa here, back again with Hunter x Hunter. We're on episode 94, and in the last episode we have the King, Meruem, the Chimera, and who can actually get stronger by eating, those with Nen and whatnot. I guess by eating regular humans as well, although I'm not really too sure. Maybe it's just on such a small scale that you don't really notice he's getting stronger by eating young people, but he does. Young people? No, that's not right. No, like lesser people. So basically those without Nen and stuff. So yeah, there's that. Palm is now in a relationship with Gon. I can't believe I'm saying that. That's nuts. They're on a date right now. Killua was obviously, keeping out the way, but he has to stay with Gon because he has to protect him because Gon is still in the Zetsu phase. So he doesn't have access to his Nen. They are off in the middle of the forest. Killua sensed that there was someone nearby. It turns out that it was Ramut, so there's going to be a revenge fight. And yeah, I like I said in the post discussion for the last episode, that I think it's going to be a quintessential fight for Killua because it's going to be a thing to overcome his cautiousness and hopefully not leave Gon to die. Because if he doesn't beat Ramut, then there's nothing really stopping Ramut from going to kill Gon, other than Palm, who we don't know to what degree, like how powerful she really is, and if she could protect him against Ramut. So, so it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about, so we're just going to get in episode 94 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 94. Alright, well, Killua's back. He's back to his, to how he was before. Well, mentally anyway. You had Nov and Shoot observing them to make sure they're in the. It's interesting. It makes me wonder how. It makes me wonder if the likes of like Morel, Nov, Shoot, and Knuckle, if they all know that Kite is that he's not, he's just not. Because if you're checking the mental state, then it's a thing of being controlled and believing that he's alive. The idea that you can change him back, I don't think that really warrants trying to observe their mental state so they're able to deal with it. I think they are kind of like making sure that they are prepared to hear the worst news, is that he's actually dead. So I believe that is what is happening. But yeah, Killua's. I'm glad Killua's back. It seems like he pulled out a thread out of his. At first, when I just saw blood, I was like, shit. Like it looked like the action he ripped off his nose. That's what it looked like, the action. But then when I realized, that he clearly just didn't rip off his nose. I thought he'd just injured himself to sort of bring him back to reality. But that was before I realized that there was like what seemed to be. It looked like a thread to me. I know that like Illumi normally uses pins, but it didn't look like a pin. It looked like a thread, which is interesting. And so it makes me think that what he's done there is Illumi would have almost like I kind of liken it to. Do you know if you've ever seen Harry Potter before? I can't remember which one it was. I think it might be like. I think it might be like the fourth movie or something. Dumbledore has like a, it's like a, I think they refer to it as like a mirror kind of thing, but it's actually just like a pool of water, and like he takes out memory strands and puts them into the water, so you can go into his own memories and stuff. That's what I kind of like. That's what I feel like it would be. I feel like it would be like a thread of almost like memory, but of Illumi telling. Like basically controlling Gon in that controlling Killua in that way, and he implanted it in his brain. I don't know to when he would have done that. Like how Killua would not have realized that was there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but it makes me wonder if it was just the mental aspect that Illumi was affecting in there, or if it's actually been suppressing his power as well. Because I don't... Because the problem is that I was the thing that leads me to believe that that has happened is the fact that once Killua took it out, he no longer had any worries in the world that he couldn't just beat Ramot. Now, I was positive that Ramot was much stronger than him. You know, the fact that Killua literally moved at like, you know, like the speed of light and took Ramot's head off in the process, I just don't think he was capable of that when he had the thread in him, you know, or whatever it was. Unless it's the fact that he went into his assassin mode there, which kind of, the way that he killed him did sort of lend credence to that it would be his assassin sort of mode, which, I don't know, it could be a thing of like, Killua doesn't, because he wants to disassociate himself from the assassin sort of ways and stuff, that maybe he just doesn't want to bring it out. But hopefully this will be a thing of where, you know, like similar to in My Hero Academia, when, you know, Todoroki, you know, he doesn't want to use his fire because it's associated with his dad. But then, you know, Midoriya tells him, you know, it's your power, you know what I mean? You use it for the way that you want to use it, but don't, like, you know, disassociate from it entirely because it's useful. And I wonder if that's I wonder if Killua is at that point now where he's fine using it, but he doesn't have to use it for like the assassin sort of ways. So I feel like the thread itself was suppressing Killua's power, as well as, you know, like keeping a sort of hold on him mentally, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Killua's a character where it's sort of he's such a different character from everyone else because it's because he's sort of like the second main character in the show, that because he's in the show like he's in like every episode, and he's there for like an extended like a period of time, just as much as Gon is. So it's interesting that because he's around that long, he'll do something badass and then he won't for like a long, like a good period of time, like a decent amount of time, and you sort of just kind of associate him with being badass, but you tend to sort of forget. And then it's like, if you want to see it like on a sort of like a graph or something like that, like he would do something amazing and then it would just gradually go down because he would kind of just like sort of forget about it, and then he would do something amazing again, right? It's very rare that I feel like Killua like does things like constantly that's just badass, you know? Like he does incredible things to show like that he can almost like beat anybody, you know? And he's able to just pull them out with a bag. But like I say, I think it's his assassin sort of thing that he goes into where he does, because I feel like, you know, what episode was it where he said that I haven't flipped the switch in a long time, and I think that's what it is. Like I don't know if it's, I feel like he just doesn't want to be associated with assassin stuff, so he doesn't really do it a lot. But if he was to, he would be, you know, like, it's crazy. But I get why he's doing it, and it makes sense because, you know, why would you always, you know, if you've got a power that is like up here, so that this is his assassin mode, and you've got his Nen stuff that's down here, why would he be using this when he can be training this to get match that and even possibly overcome it, because it's Nen and it's not just, you know. So that's, you know, it makes sense as to why he's sort of doing it, but I feel like he's at a point now where he's not afraid to use it and associate himself with that sort of lifestyle. So yeah. So yeah, I thought the juxtaposition as well was really sort of beautiful and nice. Like they had it at the beginning where they were going back and forth between Killua getting, you know, stomped, and the date that Gon was having with Palm. But the best was the best part was when Gon was talking about, like, you know, he did the whole thing where he said, like, you know, I can't sort of be alone with you, kind of thing. That's what you want because I need to be sort of training. And the voiceover carried on into Killua's fight, and it sort of just, you know, alluded to just like the fact that it's a beautiful thing of, at that point, because Killua can't you know, he's trying to overcome his cautiousness at all times, but taking a beating for it, you know, just to sort of keep Gon safe, you know. So that was a beautiful moment. It always is. So yeah. What else? Palm, she was going nuts. Yandere and all that. It's fucking crazy. They've dodged a bullet there. It also Killua as well is like a sort of secondary dodge a bullet, like of having an enemy for life, because Palm now realizes that, you know, there's only one for me and it's Nove. So yeah, they've dodged a bullet there. Nove was saying that Palm's blood is irreplaceable, and it did seem that way, that's how she was using it for her Nen purposes with the, you know, the mermaid thing, calling it a cute mermaid when it was a disgusting fucking thing. But I don't know, I suppose it's true to life, because, you know, the mermaid thing is a fantasy thing that you make up of a beautiful woman with a fish, with, like, you know, a fish's tail. But in reality, like the whole idea of actually a mermaid, them being beautiful, comes from like Disney stuff, right? And it's like Ariel and whatnot. But in reality, the fantastical creature of a mermaid is actually pretty scary. So yeah, I guess it makes sense. But of course, Palm would be into that stuff, calling disgusting things cute. Typical. But yeah, she was clearly using our blood for Nen purposes, and yeah, it makes me wonder exactly like what else she's able to do with it, other than just see into a, you know, crystal ball and whatnot. But yeah, and then at the very end there we had Morel and Knuckle versus Cheetah, which first thing I said was I don't know if I like Cheetah's chances, and that was just against Knuckle. But I don't know. I guess I've been sort of, you know, I have this image of Knuckle now where, like, you know, like he's incredible, but then in reality, the last thing he did was do that tax thing, which I don't think really works for Cheetah. It'll not work on him. But Morel's there as well, so we'll see how their fight goes on, and how that ends. I'll be honest though, I don't know. I know Cheetah's fast. I don't know if he has. I don't know really if he has anything more than that. Like going up against, you know, those with Nen, and those two sort of in particular, I don't think his chances are that great aside from being quick. So yeah, we'll have to see what they pull out the bag, because I'm sure Morel Knuckle will pull out something special, and we'll see how they dispatch of Cheetah. It's either that or Cheetah's gonna run away, one of the two. But yeah, that is all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I've linked certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there. And I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier for $5 a month. There gives you access to shows a week early, and you get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week. That's 2 on Monday and 2 on Friday, as opposed to the general public that only get access to 2 episodes a week. So by the time this episode goes out on YouTube for the general public, you can go over, become an early access tier patron, and get access to like the rest of the show and reactions. So if you can binge watch the rest of the show within like a month, it's only going to cost you $5 for the whole thing. So it's a pretty good deal. There's also $10 for full length there as well. It doesn't really matter for this show because this is full length anyway, but for other shows you will need it. And there are other tiers there where you can pay to have certain shows reacted to as well. So if you don't want me to react to a certain show, then you can have a look at those and see what all that's about. But that is all I've got, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.